Hey, Justice Warriors. How are you guys? Just opening up my seltzer water. I'm so confused. I don't know how to do the live stream and then the announcement and then go straight into the video. So I hope that you guys will find it and hop on over here. Let me call my mod while live on screen and see what's going on. See if she's got it figured out. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Good morning. Hey, I'm trying to go live, like I'm on a live stream, but I'm not on the same one. I don't know how this stuff works. Can you tell everybody in that chat that I'm over on another live stream? I'm just figuring out. Well, I just am figuring it out. I'll get it. At least I got the thing going. Okay, cool. Thanks. Oh no, I said no. I gotta go. Bye. Hello, Dilly. Good morning. All right. So, it's just one thing after another. If it's not one thing, then it's your mother. And now my thing thinks that I want to. Oh my goodness. Everything just needs to stop, right? Okay. So, Dilly Owen says, "Well, I'm the only one in my chat." So, I finally figured out how to do the announcement thing, but I should be able to like hop right into that live stream, right? So, I just got to Google it and talk to some people. Anyway, let's just get on with the show. People will hop over. I asked my mod to let people in that chat know to come over to this one. So, thank you for being here, Dilly, and send me an email. All right. Because there's a couple of things. There's the thing with you and is it Pixie Knickers? And then so yeah, just send me an email. And now I finally have my email address in my description of my channel. And as you guys know, it's Justice ATOOZ at gmail.com. So there's so much to cover, you guys. Oh my goodness. And I am going to do 2 lives today just because there's so much to cover. So where to begin? Let's just brush over a couple of other big items in the news. Hey, good morning, Maud. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, this is huge. This is our case. This is our Moscow 4. Let me start out by saying everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion, hoping to be educational, and it's made specifically for YouTube, which, as we all know, is an entertainment platform. So, bases covered. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe if you feel so moved. So you guys know that the defense attorney for the criminal defendant was Xana's mom's attorney? Hello. Even though she withdrew from that case, I still think that's a conflict of interest. Are you kidding me? Xana's one of our victims. So this woman was a defense attorney for Xana's mother, who allegedly has been charged with possession. Holy bat crap. Let me just highlight that one. I love it. I've never heard holy bat crap. That's a great one. So yeah, how in the heck does that work? How do you go from being one of the deceased mother's defense attorneys to being the alleged accused killer's defense attorney? That's unbelievable. That right there is a freaking mistrial, in my humble opinion. I want these families and these victims to get justice. That is my goal. And I am just spitting nails over what is Idaho doing? What's wrong with them? Of course, they have more people. If they have to ship somebody in from out of state for that case, then they have to ship somebody in from out of state for the criminal defendant's case. You do not do that, people. That's so out of control. I'm no lawyer, I'm no court expert, but that right there is out of control stupid, out of control illegal, in my humble opinion. Okay, so on to the next thing. I'm going to read you guys the article that I spoke about yesterday, and that I put into the description, because I read it 3 times, and it wasn't until the 3rd time that I was, like, floored, completely floored. It's so much worse than bad. It's so much worse than even Placer County, in my humble opinion. That affidavit for the, Sheriff Wu of Placer County, it's, like, in my mind, it's 1,000 times worse than that. And I think that it's important for people to see how that lays the groundwork, the foundation for what it is we're looking at. Because when I first found out about that affidavit, and let me give shout out to CNY family for finding that way back in the day, like in August. She found it in August, like the end of August. And I thought, what does that have to do with anything? And then I finally looked at it, because she said, go look at it yourself. And I was like, nah, I'm sure it doesn't have anything to do with anything. And then thank goodness I looked at it. And then I tried to make a big stink about it. I put out a video reading the affidavit, but I had a small audience. So then later, when my audience was like at its peak, I put out another video rereading that affidavit. And it got, I think, close to 10,000 views, which I was really, really happy about. So this is another freaking insanity, crazy, crazy crap. It took me reading it 3 times to understand. And then I thought, well, should I just read it to my people? Because we just don't read. I'll just admit it. I mean, sometimes I feel like I read a lot, and other times I feel like I don't read anything, right? Okay. This is Crazy Town. Let's highlight that one. Dilly Owen says, yeah, I sent a condolence to see in my family. Her mother passed away. Whose mother passed away? My mom passed away this past year, but it's been almost a year. So I don't know if you're talking about me or somebody else. It's hard losing your mama. It really is. So I'm going to read that article in a minute, but in the news this morning, you guys, don't even look at it. I mean, a mother and her 2 young sons froze to death in Pontiac, Michigan, because she was having mental health issues and thought that they should go sleep in a field. A 35-year-old mother, and I think her sons were like 3 and 9 or something like that. I might be getting the ages a little bit off, but somewhere around there. They laid down. She told them to go to sleep, allegedly. I don't know how they would know that. I don't know if there's like a surviving kid or what. Anyway, Pontiac, Michigan. Horrible. And then, we're hearing about these mass shootings, it seems like every freaking day. But here's one that's really close to home for me. Half Moon Bay in the San Francisco Bay Area, they had, was it 10 people that died in 2 shootings overnight yesterday with the same shooter for both of the mass shootings. And it was I think an Asian man in his 60s. He drove himself straight to the police department, I believe, after the second shooting. But this is San Mateo County, which is just south of San Francisco. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. And I went to graduate school right next to Half Moon Bay in Belmont, California. So I think it's Highway 92 that just goes straight from the ocean inland. And it's just a phenomenal area. Half Moon Bay is where Neil Young raised his family. I don't know if he's still living there or not. I know he remarried Daryl Hannah. So it's a small community, and it's just like a beautiful little tiny town. I've been there a few times. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. It's a really small town. So now they've got that. Okay, so let me get on to this article. The creator from CNY's mother, thank you for letting me know that, Dilly. Oh, I'm so glad that you shared that. Now I want to cry. Dang it. Yeah, losing the mama is so rough. So rough. Let me just get straight into this article because it's huge, huge, huge. And you'll tell me if my hair goes crazy or my bra strap starts sticking out or something, right? It's just so hard to contain everything for these videos, but I love these videos. So thank you so much for being here, you guys. You guys are the best. I did put it on a slowdown for the chat in case you haven't noticed yet. It's just 15 seconds, so it's not a big deal. I don't think it should really affect anybody. I just thought I should play around with stuff. Okay. That story is so sad. Hoping for Answers says, yes, my 10-year-old daughter that went for help, I believe. Oh, the 10-year-old daughter from okay, I thought you were talking about the Half Moon Bay story. Thank you so much, hoping for answers. That's why I love this experience. Like, you guys give me information, I give you information, we're helping each other out, we're figuring it out. So the mom and the two sons freezing to death, those were two little boys. So the oldest child was a daughter who ran and went for help. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that explains how they would know that she said just lay down and go to sleep. And that poor little 10-year-old was probably so freaking cold. So freaking cold. Okay. So this is the article, you guys. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. It's the one that I put the link in the comment section from my last video last night. It's from the Spokesman Review. It says the title of the article is WSU Police Leaders Retire Early to Avoid Discipline Following Sexual Misconduct Allegations. Okay, that's propaganda. These are not sexual misconduct allegations. These are findings. That's such BS. That pisses me off right from jump because the newspaper is propagandizing, covering up for the flippin' wrongdoings, evil doings. I'm just going to say evil doings. If it wasn't evil, they wouldn't be getting fired after what, 20 and 30-year careers at this department. This article, so I'm spitting nails already. This article is August 9th of this last year. So that was also right around the same day that we were getting notified about Kylie Rodney's disappearance. I mean, she was disappeared. I think it was getting to be news maybe August 8th, but August 9th, it was probably really hitting the streets of YouTube, as I like to call it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read this. Condolences to you and CNY for losing mamas. Yeah. And then that little 10-year-old girl who lost her mother and two brothers. Like, that poor, poor girl. I would like to just adopt her, please. Okay, so this article is by Nick Gibson for the Spokesman Review, and it's a long article, but I want to read every word, so please, please stick with me. I am going to be breaking it up with my interjections, so hopefully it's not boring, because it's freaking relevant as it gets. Pullman, the three top officials with the Washington State University Police Department, otherwise known as Wazoo Police Department, I'm telling you, it is like National Lampoon's Animal House over there. It's a full-time frat party, 24/7, 365, in my humble opinion. Okay. Allegedly. I mean, it's just been like that forever. That's what the school's known for. Party animals. Okay. Police department have resigned following a disciplinary investigation that revealed they failed to advise university officials that an officer allegedly had sex in the presidential suite of Martin Stadium while on duty. Okay, there's a couple things in there I want to interject. I don't believe that they failed to advise the university officials, because if they had, they would only need to fire or get one person to resign, right? They could just have that one be the fall guy. My guess is that the university officials knew, and they're trying to cover their ASSES. Okay, since I'm monetized, I'm trying to watch my language. Shouldn't be too hard, right? I need one of them bleeper things. Okay, so my other big deal with this whole thing is, who's this person? Was she a student? Because it matters. Everything about this matters. Yesterday, I was kind of flabbergasted and I was like, well, it doesn't really matter who the person was. It doesn't really matter this. It all matters. Okay. I was watching my video like, why did I say that? That's ridiculous. But either way, it's bad, whether this is a student or even if this was his spouse. Okay. You do not do that on company time with any job. Hello. Okay. Hoping for answers says yes, evil. Yeah. People don't get fired for just missteps. People get fired for being malicious and conniving and manipulative and sinister and dark. Okay. People don't just get fired for making an accident. People get written up for making an accident. Sometimes people get written up for all those other things I just said, but you're talking of the three top officials of this police department, of the zoo, of freaking Wazoo. Okay. So they think because they have badges and guns and they work at Wazoo that they can just do whatever the F they want 24/7, 365, because they're like giant frat boys, in my humble opinion. Oh, I'm mad. I'm so mad. It's just so disgusting. So this Wazoo isn't safe for females to go to school there, in my humble opinion. When you've got a freaking frat party 24/7 and then you got 50-year-old frat boys running around, not able to keep it in their freaking pants. Why would anyone allow their daughter to go to school there? Or son, but especially daughter. Okay, I'm going to get burned for this. I know, but I don't freaking care. I'm so sick of this crap. Okay. Um let's see where we're at. Sex on the job is illegal in a legal setting. Duh. Well, yeah. Okay. Gonna read. The university said in a news release Tuesday that Police Chief Bill Gardner, Assistant Chief Steve Hansen, and Captain Mike Larson have announced their intent to retire in lieu of pending disciplinary action. Okay, so the disciplinary action is pending. That means that these are not simply allegations, these have been founded. Okay, these have been deemed to be more than allegations. Okay, which may have included termination. Wazoo spokesman Phil Weiler said the findings of the investigations will be included. I said investigations, it's actually one. Said the findings of the investigation will be included in the officer's personnel files and will be made available to the agency that certifies law enforcement officers, as well as to future employers. Don't you think they should just be stripped of their commission? Seriously? This is the problem with law enforcement. They're untouchable. They're made of Teflon, especially when they're in these command positions. So the command staff failed to notify university officials. Again, I'm not buying that. I think those university officials are letting the whole command staff team be the fall guy. Okay. And this is from a December 2020 internal investigation. So 2 years ago, 2 years and 1 month ago, into the allegations involving Wazoo Police Sergeant Matt Kurt. So this isn't just an officer. This is a freaking sergeant. This is one of your upper officers. This is a supervisor. This guy is a POS, in my humble opinion. And yes, thank you, Kale. We definitely I almost called them last night. Let's see, replace pin message. I almost called Wazoo and Pullman last night to ask the most appropriate way to make public records requests with them. So that's usually what you do. You call them up, you talk to somebody, you ask them what's the email address, who's the person to address, if it's not just like dear sirs, dear madams, that kind of thing. And then you just make your request. It's really simple. Okay, so yeah, we all need to make requests for those files, in my humble opinion. Okay, here we go. The incident was brought to the command of sorry, I'm going to calm down. The incident was brought to the command staff's attention by an officer who was contacted by a 911 dispatcher who asked for advice on how to move forward with reports regarding Kurt, according to an investigation report from the university's Human Resources Services. Good morning, Draymond Brown. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Let's see. The officer notified the command staff of the allegations against Kurt. The command staff launched an internal investigation headed by Larson, Gardner, and Hansen told investigators with the university's Compliance and Civil Rights Department, as well as Human Resource Services, that Kurt admitted to having sex while on duty. Okay? This is so freaking similar to Sheriff Wu in Placer County, who also admitted, and his was with an underage ride along. So We don't know if this was with an underage ride along or not, but in both cases, they admitted it and still got to keep their jobs, at least for a while. Larson was not able to locate a witness or the person involved with Kurt. The department deemed there was not enough evidence to take personnel action, but Kurt was disciplined in the form of a letter of admonishment from Gardner and was banned from working overtime during the summer of 2021. Aw, that's so sad. So they say that they couldn't locate a witness. Okay, ready for this? An officer told investigators that Kurt had told them in fall of 2021 he had offered to provide the name of the woman involved to the command staff, but that they had said it was not necessary, according to the Human Resources Investigation report. Larson wrote in his report that he could not substantiate the allegations without talking to the other person involved, whose identity he did not have. Huh? Seriously? This is how this shit rolls, you guys. This is how they get away with stuff. No, 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 no. We don't want her name. They might have even had her name and just pretended like, no, no, we don't know who it is. So therefore, we can't complete the investigation and we're done. Okay. Yeah. Gardner told investigators he believed the allegations were an internal policy violation, thus did not contact human resources or compliance and civil rights, as is required when sexual misconduct allegations are levied against a WSU employee. Oh, wait a second, you guys. I just had an epiphany. This is a student. I'll tell you why when we get there. This was definitely 100% a student. Okay. Gardner told the investigators he believed, so he didn't know how to do his job. He said, I just don't even know how to do my job. I don't know what's what. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what's going on. I'm just here. Just give me my paycheck and I'll just, show up and be brain dead and allow people to run around with their hands in their pants and whatever. Okay. Human Resource Services maintains personnel files for all campus employees, including the police department. So the police department thinks that they're above the law, right? And all the rules that apply to all the other Wazoo employees don't apply to them because they're made of Teflon. Gardner did not provide a copy of the admonishment letter to be included in Kurt's file. Oh, isn't that so nice? We're just going to write this letter and put it right over here in the round file. That is so sweet. Good morning, heavenly clouds. I'm going to highlight your good morning with a cup of coffee. I do have all of my beverages here, and maybe I should take a drink of my coffee so that I don't get dry mouth while I'm reading this. But then I lose my place. Okay, the part about the letter. Okay, yeah, he forgot to put it in the file. Put it in the round file. Gardner told investigators he decided on a letter of admonishment for Kurt so he could document the issue while continuing to monitor his behavior and fire him if additional issues came up. Okay, whatever. The incident and the investigation were brought to the attention of university officials. That would normally be you're fired. You had sex on the job, on company time. You're fired. Period. End of story. That's like real life. Okay. You don't do that. The incident and the investigation were brought to the attention of university officials in March by an officer who believed Kurt was not properly disciplined. No, he was not. A human resources investigation was then launched against the command staff, which concluded with all three members retiring in lieu of discipline. Okay, so remember, this took 2 years from start to finish, approximately, a little bit less than 2 years. So they saw this coming across the Brooklyn Bridge, like I had said yesterday. They knew this was coming for at least more than an entire year, is safe to say. Good morning, Mark Molina. Ginormous coffee. Yes, I need it. And it's good. Okay. The Compliance and Civil Rights Investigation, which could include Title 9, it's IX. Is that Title 9 or Title 19? Help me out, you guys. I know what it is. I just don't know if it's 9 or 19 because I haven't had enough coffee yet. Title 9, 19, action against Kurt. That's 1X. So anyone who knows their Greek, I usually do, but like I said, not enough coffee yet. Against Kurt, given the nature of the allegations is ongoing, Kurt had been on home assignment since March when the allegations were first brought to the university's attention. He was on home assignment, so he was like punished. He was admonished. He had to stay home and get paid. Poor guy. Mrs. Amir Zaza says, "Yay, I made it today." I like the way it says toady. Hello, Justice Warriors and Miss Jazz. Thank you, Heavenly Cloud. So, Title 9. So Title 9 is sexual harassment with, or any like misconduct with school students. I think that implies that it's a student. That's why I said I think I figured it out. Okay. So Title 9, like we can Google that, right? I'm pretty sure that means it's a student. Although the investigation against Kurt is ongoing, which again, I'm sorry to interject here, but the man is 49. The sergeant is 49. So this person was probably less than half his age or somewhere around there. Okay. Although the investigation against Kurt is ongoing, preliminary findings obtained through a public records request detail a history of sexual misconduct while on duty, directed towards fellow employees at the department, including student interns. Officers interviewed during the investigation indicated Kurt had a reputation of engaging in sexual activities around the Pullman campus, around the zoo. You just do what you want because you're a freaking baboon, including the presidential suite at Martin Stadium and the WSU, the Wazoo Observatory. I mean, it's just degrading to the entire Wazoo school that does not need any further degrading, in my humble opinion. Okay. I'm confused. Legally, every employer has a sexual harassment policy that has to be signed once a year by every employee, but others get a pass to engage in sexual activity while on the job. I know, isn't it so confusing for us civilians? Okay. And for us girls, because we're so emotional, we can't see straight. Okay, you guys are not going to be liking this. Officers told investigators they had concerns about comments Kurt made about student interns, such as, quote, "Can you have them do that, a calisthenics movement, again," end quote. And, quote, "Got any hot interns this year," end quote. Kurt also sent inappropriate pictures to a former employee and used a ringtone associated with a pornography website, according to the investigation documents. None of these incidents were reported to the command staff. Like they didn't know, right? Right. They had no idea. The documents also allege Kurt groped a newly hired female employee of the department. That just really gets me. Who complained to a fellow officer. That officer and the new employee spoke to Gardner about it, but the incident was not documented, nor was the issue disclosed to compliance and civil rights. That really, really upsets me. You heard how Brian's lawyer representing Jana's mom. Yes, yes, yes. GOP Nick. That was like, I think what I started with. There were a few things, and yeah, it's really important. Thank you for reiterating that in the feed here. You heard how Brian's lawyer representing Xana's mom until January. This is a lot of effery, you guys. Crooked as they come. Okay. The investigation determined that the command staff fostered an environment that discouraged reporting such incidents. What? What a terrible allegation. Disciplinary proceedings against Kurt are continuing, including a formal hearing conducted in conformity with the Title IX, according to the news release. He has since resigned, but that was pretty recent. So at first, these other three people all had to resign, and he got to keep his paycheck. Okay. Retired police Retired Pullman Police Chief Gary Jenkins, who's the same guy that interviewed the criminal defendant and emailed with him on April 12th of 2022. So he had been the Pullman Police Chief for a long time. And then he retired, and then he will serve as interim police chief of the campus police department until a permanent replacement for Gardner is found, according to the Wazoo news release. So I don't know if they have made him permanent, because I'm pretty sure he's still there. I'm pretty sure that the police chief that interviewed the criminal defendant is still the police chief at the zoo. Wazoo Police Sergeant Don Daniels, who served as interim chief while the university was conducting its investigation, has been promoted to the assistant chief. Well, why couldn't she have just maintained her chief status? But no, they handed it over to this guy for damage control. But it is better damage control to move your females up the ranks so you don't look like such a sexist rat bastard institution. And it is, in my humble opinion. Victoria Murray will continue to serve as Sergeant Don Daniels, who served as interim chief while the zoo was conducting its investigation, has been promoted to the assistant chief of the zoo. Victoria Murray will continue to serve as acting associate vice president for public safety, a role formerly held by Gardner. Oh no, where'd the rest of my story go? There was a lot more to it, you guys. Now they're hiding it from me. That's fine if that's all I got right now. It just goes from bad to worse. And there's many articles about it. So let's get back on track. We're already at half an hour. Crooked, just like where I live, Draymond Brown says, Nevada County, I'm so sorry that that you have to deal with Nevada County crap. Yeah, I'm thinking it's exactly like Nevada County. Oh my God, this guy is sick, Heavenly Cloud says. Well, and he moved up the ranks. I'm sure that this rancid behavior of his was nothing new before his promotion to sergeant. I mean, that's a big deal to be a sergeant. It's a big deal to be a cop. It's a big deal. You have a lot of power literally in your hand 24/7, 365. And these people that abuse that power, what story is this? I've zero English idea what. So this is the story about the police chief who interviewed the criminal defendant, Chief Gary Jenkins, who was the police chief at the Pullman Police Department, who then retired and then took over at Wazoo. So he's currently, I believe, still the police chief at WSU. Washington State University has their own campus police. And they need it because, I mean, actually, they don't need it. If this is what the campus police is doing, then maybe they can discontinue campus police and just let Pullman Police Department get bigger and oversee the school. I think that's how Moscow does it. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that the University of Idaho does not have their own campus police. Gross misuse of power. Yeah, abuse of power. Abuse. I'm going to highlight that, but that's a complete disgusting sexual abuse of power and physical abuse of power. I mean, the man groped a new employee and they didn't even document it when she reported it to her supervisor. And this is the PD where the Nothing Burger applied to work actually worked. So the Nothing Burger applied to work for Pullman Police Department, just to be clear. And then by the time August rolled around, the police chief that he interviewed with and emailed with is now the police chief at the campus, Wazoo campus, where he goes to school, where he's a doctoral student. Pullman Police Department won't tell anybody what happened after that interview and after, which was online. I need to clarify because I wasn't sure about that. It was an online interview or like a Zoom interview. And then they emailed about it on April 12th last year, and no information after that. So we don't know if it was dead in the water. We don't know if he was hired. He could have been hired, but whatever it was, it should be public information. So that's what needs to be. Yeah, did I highlight that one? I did not yet. Okay, I'm going to highlight Kale's thing. And then Squirrely Burger says, but none of that stops him from working at another precinct or security firm. Okay, right, 100%. That's what's so scary is he can go and do even worse things. Since he got away with all that, that's what people do. They up the ante. You give them an inch, they take a mile. You've all read the mouse and the cookie story, right? That's the best. If you give a moose a muffin, they're going to ask you for a glass of milk. If you give them a glass of milk, they're going to ask you to give them a blanket so they can take a nap. If you give them that, then they're going to want to borrow your, I don't know, your hot tub. Then they're going to want to take a hot tub. Then they're going to need a towel. And it just goes on and on. So yeah, you give them an inch, they take a mile. Heavenly Cloud says, wow, BK would fit into this trashy police department. Well, I'm very concerned. I looked it up. The story drops off, Kale says. Okay, well, I saw a story yesterday that went on and on and on. Maybe they revised it because they found out that it hit the streets of YouTube. Maybe they just cut it off right there. That's wild because, yeah, it's a really long article. And I've only read the one. I mean, I've looked at some of the others, but that's the only one that I read through entirely. It's all funny handshakes in the good old boys club or in the old boys club. Yeah. And Larissa says, I'm late. Hey, Larissa, I'm so happy to hear that you are on the Kylie Rodney again. Yeah, that needs our attention. So this case is so much like the Kylie Rodney case, in my humble opinion. It's getting to be more and more like it every day. And I've just got this funny feeling that there's a lot more to it. Remember, Bethany F., the roommate that we never hear about who was sleeping on the first floor, she's from Reno. What a quinky dink. So, Larissa, you are on it with Kylie, and, it might just bleed right over into Moscow. It really could. It really could. This gets shoved under the rug. Then they skip from precinct to precinct, just like all those priests. Yeah. Well, and that's if they even need to skip from precinct to precinct. I mean, how many years do you think this was going on before it finally snowballed and they had to do this? And then it took them 2 years, and then they got the police chief that interviewed the Nothing Burger. They got him to come over and do their damage control and say, oh, well, we're all so happy that that's over and we're just moving forward and it's all so positive. Everything's good at the zoo. Larissa Slaughter says, when do we get a KR live? I've been dying for one. Oh, I know. Me too. And I am definitely on that in my heart. So yeah, I need to get on it with my hands and head as well. Yeah, I never wanted to get involved in this Moscow case because I did not want to get distracted off of Kylie Rodney's case. And I had this conspiracy theory suspicion that that's exactly what was going on, was that it was orchestrated and that they were trying to get people to quit talking about Kylie Rodney. And so they came up with this insane monstrous situation that could be talked about for years with nobody going back to Kylie Rodney. And I'm not going to allow that for my own channel. Definitely not. I mean, I'm so sick of this freaking Moscow crap already. And I'm just so sad for these families, these girls and Ethan. And then Ethan's triplets. Let's see. Sorry about the bra strap, you guys. I knew I'd have to keep an eye on that. Nobody cares these days, right? So crazy, RT, so crazy. I feel like the area and influence of Murdaugh area, small town power is scary, but so is abuse of power. I know that Murdaugh stuff is insane that he got away with all that for so long. Like, I'm so over it that I don't even want to see what's going on with the trial because it's just freaking crazy. I mean, the man kills everybody that comes into contact with him, allegedly. I would say it's back slaps in the old boys club. No words from them, just back slaps, and they're just literally, I mean, not to be so crude, but they're just getting their rocks off. Like, ugh, they've got their package in their hand every freaking day. They come to work with their package in their hand, in my opinion. I'm just going to say it like it is. These MFs need to just step off. I'm a traveling man. How Freemasons introduce themselves. Ugh. Okay. That's really a coincidence. Larissa, are you talking about Bethany being from Reno? Reno. I remember when Living Lake time, Casey was like, Reno, let's go to Reno. Oh, cool. We're invited. The Channel 13 Fox News with Jagger and Kate. Let's go to Reno. Oh, cool. We're invited. Let's go. Oh my God. It's the funniest short that Casey did. Reno, I'll come. Oh my goodness. Okay. I've been saying since the beginning, this case is Kylie Rodney 2.0. Yeah, I tried to put it out of my mind because I just thought that's too freaking crazy. But it's so similar. And it just looks like there's so many people involved, in my humble opinion. I'm not only so suspicious of Pullman PD and the Wazoo PD, same chief that knew Koberger, still knows him, and we don't know if they hired him or not. Whether they did or not is almost irrelevant, but if they did, and he was working there and they're keeping that secret, and I've just got a sneaking suspicion that that's the deal. Otherwise, they would be coming forward and saying, oh, yeah, we didn't hire him. He wasn't good enough for our prestigious department. And then Pullman is basically just the other side of town from Moscow. So don't tell me that Mr. Smiley Face Cheeseball, police chief of Moscow, don't know this police chief who's trying to smooth over all the awful, not just harassment, but assaults. That's an assault for a cop to have relations like that with a civilian, whether they're a student or not. A civilian is not in a position to say no to a cop when the cop has a gun, a license to kill, and could write them up for jaywalking. Come on. This is messed up. Disgusting. Okay. I think BK might be setting a trap, or it's a setup because of this weird statement about being exonerated. Well, I'm not trying to protect the criminal defendant. The criminal defendant is presumed innocent until found guilty in a court of law. But my conspiracy theory suspicion is that he was basically recruited by local cops to be a part of this sick experiment. And then they're trying to paint it like it's his own sick experiment. And then they can point the finger at each other. He can say, no, you guys did it. I think it's like a big catfishing thing. Catfishing is like the thing these days. Like everybody's catfishing everybody. It used to be just the Scooby-Doo twist at the ending of a movie. Now it's like real life every day. Like who can catfish bigger, deeper, worse, right? So then the police can put it all on Koberger because they're the ones who control the documentation, and what the police say is fact and what anybody else says is hearsay, essentially. So yeah. I have no empathy for the criminal defendant if he was involved on any level, and I'm pretty sure that he was very likely involved. So I don't have empathy for him. I just don't think it's right for the public to prosecute him. We need to allow the system to do its work, and we need to get everybody involved, not just one freaking fall guy. If it is that, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just have my crazy ass conspiracy theory that has nothing to do with reality. But man, look at the writing on the wall. They said BK would never have to be interrogated. Why do you think? What? Are you kidding me? So they won't let him talk. So this brings up another issue, you guys. Remember the scrapes he had on his face at his hearing, his most recent hearing? And everyone was trying to speculate and say, oh, that's just from the really crappy razors that they give them in jail that are like from Dollar Tree or Dollar General or whatever. What if those scrapes were not from a razor? And the criminal defendant is probably not having any contact with any other prisoners. So I'm just going to leave it like that. What if those scrapes are not from razors? And we know that this criminal defendant has zero contact with other inmates. Okay. And remember, he was just staying in the jail that was in the basement of the courthouse in Moscow. So yeah, Kale is asking you, Dilly Owens, if you can elaborate on that. Basically, I think Larissa says this could be true, but they caught a guy in Idaho for still no answers for Kylie, so they can't stray us away from bringing her justice, right? And they will try. No, I think that that they've been trying really hard, and it's not going to go away. I mean, justice has to happen for Kylie. We know she did not drown. The autopsy that was provided, whether that's accurate or not, as an autopsy, it does not substantiate evidence to prove drowning. In fact, it does quite the opposite. It substantiates evidence to prove that she did not die from drowning. So the squirrels are hot right now about KR. Well, I'm so glad. I know they are just like not giving up on her, and I'm not giving up on her either. It was so hard for me to just get my focus swayed the tiniest bit over to Trinity Backus. And then I realized that Trinity Backus and Kylie Rodney, you guys remember, I have that list of 70 solid coincidences that those two cases have in common. 70. It was up to 75, but then I distilled it down, and I kept distilling it down. I kept on distilling it down to try to make it more airtight. But I mean, at its highest, it was like 75. Let's see, where are we? It's all very Elliot Rogers mixed with Bundy and initials almost BTK. It's so twisted. It's so twisted. And so just to bring it up, you guys, I can't for the life of me, can't find that video from around probably right before December 19th, where that troll came in and said, all the experts know it's an incel. You're behind on, you're just not up to snuff or something like that. And I read it to you guys out loud, and then I was like, well, should I block him? Should I just delete the comment? And I ended up just deleting the comment, thinking that he'd probably come back with something else, and he didn't. But it wasn't until weeks later that I thought, wow, that might have actually been the criminal defendant. So I can't find it, and I gave up, and then I tried again. Reno. Okay. Oh, heavenly clouds, I'm going to pin yours. And then Larissa Slaughter did a really good job just in chat of imitating Casey from that video that I'm telling you about. That's so hilarious. You know what? I'm going to see, now that I'm getting more crafty with my skills, I'm going to see if I can put that video in my description. So for anybody that missed it, it's a classic. It's really good. LAL, you make me laugh, Reno, LOL. Let's hit that like button, warriors and lurkers lurking around, please. That's so funny. I'm a lurker half the time just because I'm doing other stuff, and I like to tell people when I'm in their chat, but sometimes I'm just too busy. Let's see. America just seems so dangerous. Nothing like this really happens in England. GOP Nick, it's funny you should say that, because just this morning, I believe it was Harsh Reality. It might have been last night. I think it was this morning. He was saying that it's everywhere. It's not just our country. So, still would like to visit though. BK is the fall guy. Yeah. Well, and he looks like such a creep, and they could have pegged him like in the interview back in April. They could have said, "This is our perfect guy to recruit, and then he can be part of our evil scheme." And then, he just looks the role. We can put it all on him. He's got all the social awkwardness. So, they can play on everything. They can play on the Charles Manson eyes. They can play on, you can bet your bottom dollar that if they hired him for that assistantship, that they checked his social media and they knew all about his wacky posts from when he was a teenager. You can bet your bottom dollar. GOP Nick says a game of cat and mouse. Right. On a national level, just trying to get all these internet sleuthers just catfishing everybody to see what they can get away with, to see what all the ins and outs are now with social media being a game changer with all this. Law enforcement has been able to cover up and whitewash whatever they've wanted for as long as there's been law enforcement. And now with social media, the game has changed tremendously. And social media has had the upper hand. Law enforcement has not been able to keep up. They're starting to, and they're getting better at it, and that's great. But to me, this reeks of a possibility of some type of social experiment to see how much they can get away with while social media, internet sleuths, so to speak, are investigating the stuff 24/7 and making public records requests. People didn't used to make public records requests too often. And anytime anybody made a public records request, especially if they weren't with the newspaper, you'd be putting a target on your back to ask for a public record. You'd be putting a target on your back. So let me finish up with this one. We are getting close to the 1 hour cutoff. I mean, it's not really a cutoff, but I try. And America just seems so dangerous. No, the world is dangerous. We all know that. We all know that. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Xena and Justice Warriors. Harsh reality is speaking truth. Heavenly Cloud says our ability as people to control our thoughts and actions separates us from animals. These cops are acting like animals. They go after whoever they want, in my opinion. Yeah. And where's your tinfoil hat? I was watching Jay is for Justice yesterday, and they were talking about tinfoil tiaras, and I thought, isn't that so cute? But you guys, I have this cool hat that I wanted to show you. Can you see? It says sociopath on it, but it's spelled SEW, and there's a sewing machine, and then there's a little sea turtle and this funny pin from Princess Leia. So anyway, sociopath. I bought this a while ago, and I finally ironed it onto my hat just for you guys. So, all right, I'm on board with that police conspiracy, public conviction. I've tried so hard to allow proof to surface, to prove me wrong before disclosing that that's a possibility that I've had in my mind from go. Absolutely. Balakella says, wait, what? Where'd that one go? Where'd it go? Sorry, I'm going to get caught up and then we'll wrap it up. I am so far behind. Okay. Wait, what? I missed so much. Law enforcement involved with BK? Explain. Yeah, so the police chief at Wazoo was the police chief at Pullman when they interviewed, that police chief interviewed with him online, it looks like, and then they emailed on April 12th of last year, and the criminal defendant was applying for an assistantship with the Pullman Police Department. So the Pullman Police Department chief is now the police chief at the university, WSU, and I can't explain too much more about that because that's what the whole video is about, and I'm not going to repeat it all. But you need to look at it, Block Hella, please. You'll definitely want to see the history with Wazoo. And remember, this is a tiny town. This is two tiny towns basically connected by some country roads. So you've got Pullman and you've got Moscow and you've got like a country road that's like 7 miles. And pretty much everybody in Pullman shops in Moscow and does all their socializing stuff like restaurants and theater and galleries in Moscow. And Moscow, all of their 911 calls go to Pullman, apparently, to get dispatched. So it's basically one town. It's just two ends of the town. You know, they're both very small communities. Roughly, this is a ballpark, like 25,000 into each town. And, you know, Pullman is like almost the entire population is the college. And then Moscow, it's about half of the population is the college, if I'm accurate. I'm not saying that I know everything. I'm just saying that's kind of a ballpark thumbnail. Okay, so where are we? I'm gonna get caught up, I promise. GOP Nick, hubby wants us to move to the US and says it's safer than South Africa. It probably is. Here it's crazy. We stay with locked gates and doors even during the day. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I have a friend who hangs out in South Africa a lot. So yeah, it probably is safer here. It's crazy. What if they didn't want him to have a razor and somebody else shaved him? Right. Well, I'm just saying that the scrapes on his face don't look like razor cuts to me. I mean, we've all seen razor cuts. You know, the photographs of him, he's got like a big scrape here and a smaller scrape. Especially the big one, that does not look like a razor cut. That looks like something else. And I don't know what. What if they didn't want him? Okay, did I highlight that one? Yeah. Okay. And Caesar says, hello, this is all about crazy conspiracy theories. I'll admit it. We all need our tinfoil tiaras, right? Maybe KR was a snuff movie. Oh, GOP Nick, I'm so like, I'm glad you said that. And I'm also so terrified and horrified that that's what that was. And I think we've all wondered if BK, sorry about the bra strap again, you guys, I was going to try to get a pin. Did BK did he videotape these crimes if he was there, which it sounds like he was, but there's just so much so much people trafficking and hurting of children and women, right? And then, you know, we got Ethan the male that was offed with the three females unalived, and then we have his sister and his brother arriving to the scene of the crime prior to anyone calling 911. That is so weird, you guys. That is so weird. I mean, when you add it all up, it seems obvious that they're hiding drugs or something, in my opinion. Let's see. Timeline, commonality, motive. Yep. Right. And what's the motive? The motive is always money. Follow the money, follow the money, follow the money. Snuff films are worth millions on the black market. Millions. Or ritual because of water. Yeah, I know. It's all very satanic in my opinion. In my conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly, humbly. They took BK off suicide watch and publicly convicted, and if he ends up self unalived, case closed. Right. Or just like the other guy that may or may not have any relevancy, Brent K, that was unalived by the SWAT team. What was it? December 15th, December 14th. Does he really drive a white Hyundai Elantra, you guys? Has anybody been able to determine that? And if he does, what year is his white Hyundai Elantra? Who was this and when? Good morning, Kale, and welcome back. If you ever wonder why Kaylee's dad said they didn't have to go up the stairs, then law enforcement came out and said people had to hush it more or less. Right. And they put these gag orders on, and then they release a 97-page document like 5 months early. Who is this Weston character? I have no idea what that is. I'm going to highlight that. So you guys, let's get to wrapping it up and signing off. Um, I think Kaylee's dad knows a lot more. That's why they got upset with him. 60 in chat and only 30 likes in this live. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here and for participating. And please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. It does a lot for the channel. And as you know, I'm a super small channel. I'm really wet behind the ears and I'm just learning. And it's the nicest thing about having like 3,000 subs and almost getting towards 500,000 views now is it's encouraging. It just is like a nice pat on the back. It's reassuring that people like what I'm putting out there. I've said it again and again. I don't feel like I need anybody's approval. Like I need my own approval. I need the approval of God. I need to speak the truth. I need the approval of my dog, dogs and cats. But it is nice. It's really nice to have people's approval. I mean, that's just human nature. So when you do things like and sub and share, it helps the channel grow. And in my perspective, everything in this world is either in a constant state of growth or decay. There's no staying the same. So it's one or the other. If you're not progressing, you're regressing. So that to me is why it's important to keep growing, even though, you know, I'm really happy with where it's at. I'm really happy to have a channel. I'm really happy that you guys are enjoying this discussion. Thank you, Larissa Slaughter, for a big nugget. Yes, Larissa is the bomb. We love Larissa. And let's get, I was the 29th like. Thank you, Caleb Lee. And Dilly Owens, this was 5 weeks ago when it was on a channel that he was in the Greek restaurant. It said Maddie ordered his food, told her to get his food, and he called her the B word. I don't remember any of that. Dilly, I don't remember any of that. It sounds to me like similar to the story that's been told about Kaylee and her date with some guy who said B word, make me a quesadilla or something like that. I don't know. And Kale says, Dilly Owens, has this been verified or debunked? I need to know. Caleb Lee says, yes, Xena. All right. You guys. Alrighty. We are wrapping it up. You think they're harvesting our collective energy? Oh, that's so creepy. GOP next up. Getting us ready for adrenochrome. Yeah, scary. Justice A to Z is cutting us of JK. What? I don't know what that means. Am I supposed to know what that means? I'm just going to highlight it and leave it there. Mom sees afar. Hi there, been busy. Good morning, Caleb. Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up before we wrap it up. Where did it go? I am way back. I'm like 10 minutes behind you guys. I am so sorry. LOL, you could have a cutoff. LOL, we would be here all day. Rhonda. Oh, Justice is cutting us off. Joke. Gotcha. Thank you. Well, I will be back on. I like to end them so that I can do some more and get a fresh perspective. Because yeah, for this one, I really wanted to read you guys that article. And you always have so much great stuff to say. So let me try to speed read through these last 10 minutes of chat. By August, the Chief Jenkins had retired from PD after infamously interviewing Zero Burger and came out of retirement to work at WSU Security when Zero Burger became a student there and possibly a assistantship intern for the PD. We don't know. Got to be more to the story. Good points, Kale. Thank you so much. Electric shaver, good question. I doubt they let somebody else shave him. Do the marks look like cement burn? That's a good question, Kale. You were on it. Some videos are touched up, no scrapes. Oh, that's creepy, isn't it? Maybe he's been picking his face. No, it's like a scrape like that. It's definitely not zits. So Ellie not involved in the crime, but they have some relationship with BK. Well, he might have worked there. They're not telling us. All we know is that they had an internet interview meeting, BK and the police chief of Pullman PD, who is now the police chief at Wazoo, and that the meeting went well and they were all on both sides looking forward to the next step, but the next step is not being revealed. So why are they not revealing it? Seems to me that they probably have something to hide. Did they hire him? Was he actually working for the Pullman PD starting August 22nd? That was the start date of the position that he interviewed for. It was an assistantship that paid some money, that was basically a paid internship. And I think he was one of final four. And that's as far as the information that I have come across goes. I want to ask them for some more information on that. Let's see. Tiny towns with good old boys running everything. Scary. Right. It can be worse than the big cities, really. Really. Could rug burns, maybe. I was screaming snuff long ago when those images started showing up. And are you talking about in the Kylie Rodney case? Or are you... Okay, let's see. You get to it. The world is getting so sick. That's not a conspiracy. Kylie Rodney situation woke me up to 8mm Jack Nicklaus movie. Maybe I'll have to check that out. I don't know. Nobody hit those lives. Shout, shout. Huh? I don't know what that is. I don't know what you mean there. I'm going to try to speed read, though. I'm not going to be tagging anything else, I don't think. If they are worried about him self-harming, they are not giving him a razor. This is my biggest thing, is if our suspect is guilty, that would mean he slaughtered them to death and fighting to save his own life, right, in 6 minutes or less with one single military-style K-bar knife. Please remember to hit the like. Yes, Zena, you have my stamp of approval. Here is my stamp. I heard Kylie on date was told that. It's always an honor to be here with you all. You said you were cutting us of the... Just kidding, right? Creepy Jenkins. Yes, please remember to like. Okay, also funny. Yes, like. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and take really good care of yourself for the rest of the day. I will see you in another live this afternoon. I'll try to do it the way I made the announcement, and then I'll try to find out if I can just like hop right into that same announcement thing. I'll see what I can do. I'll ask Google. Blockella says, I'm hoping true crime sleuthers get involved in law enforcement in their communities. We need that. Can we please hit the like button on our way? It makes it so much easier to hop off at the end. And I think there was more than one, just because Kaylee Dad said they didn't have to go up the stairs. Wow. Okay, you guys, don't forget to drink your water, eat your protein, your fruits and your veggies, get your exercise, fresh air, sunshine, relax, be kind, treat others with the respect that you insist on them treating you with. We do not accept disrespect, period. It's like the most unhealthy thing you can do. Don't allow anybody to disrespect you, period. Right? All right. Enough of the soapbox. I will see you guys hopefully, let's say about 1 o'clock, 1:30, right in there. Thanks.